For the last session, I'm going to invite Kirsty and Alistair up onto the stage. Have a seat, Kirsty and Alistair. Give them a round of applause, will you? So this is the point in the day where you get to sit back. Well, maybe we should have arranged like a couple of cocktails or something for you guys to sit back and relax.
Well, the drinks are next door after this. So.
Excellent. There's
you may
a
have
segue.
to crane me out of this seat.
There's a segue. Reflections from you both really on today. I mean, it's been incredible. I remember the first one that we did in Edinburgh, kind of behind closed doors, just after lockdown, to where we are today. Incredible momentum and progress. Start with you, Alistair. Just give us a reflection on today and maybe the journey that you've been on.
Yeah, well, thanks, Graham, and thanks for your excellent support today, as usual. I was actually going to use the word momentum that you just used, because I think it's something that, you know, all these things take time to develop and to build. But you know, Kirsty went through the story of the progression around Soundscape from this time last year to now. I was talking at the beginning of today about the fact that when we were on the stage last year, we had 3 companies that had joined the Tech for Good Alliance. We're now at 10. Can you imagine what would happen if we got to 30 by this time next year? And that's not an impossible dream by any means. You know, it's a couple of companies a month getting involved. So there's probably at least 6 of you here who can help with that, right? But that's a really important thing. And I think if I look back over the lifetime of the Scottish Tech Army, you know, we started out very much in a reactive mode. And it was all about one organisation coming to us with a problem that we would try and find one or more volunteers to help. It's a very arithmetic progression. So, you know, 1 + 1 + 1. The real challenge, or the real opportunity, in fact, is to move from arithmetic to geometric. So instead of that 1 + 1 + 1, it's 1 × 2 = 2, 2 × 2 = 4, 2 × 4 = 8. Moving to that kind of geometric progression is what will really make it happen. And that only happens when you get that ecosystem really starting to collaborate. So it's fantastic to hear, not only from what we've been doing, but from what the other people in the various discussions have been talking about. The combinatorial power of that, for me, is the really huge takeaway from what we've heard today.
Fantastic. That's brilliant, yeah. I was just double checking to see if they were catching up with your algorithm that was going up there, and it did pretty well, to be fair.
All right.
It did pretty well.
Awesome. It's been really
Kirsty, you can probably try and, in a few minutes, explain just how much goes into organising an event like today.
I don't want to talk about it ever again.
And I know there's a small team that kind of runs this, and obviously it's been months in the making, but maybe just give us a bit of a reflection on how it feels to get to the end of the day having seen all of this unfold in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic, and as always, it's a lot of hard work that goes into sort of pulling this all together, and it's also around what are the things that we really want to talk about, what are the things we really want to kind of get across to people, what are the topics. I mean, you'll have noticed today we haven't really talked about AI, because everybody's talking about AI in the skilled volunteering environment, and actually in the third sector in many ways, that's not their priority right now. So it's been really great today to be able to focus on the other things that are going on in the sector that really, really matter, and I really appreciate all of the contributions of all of the panellists who've brought that to, and all of the questions that have been asked. And you know, we are a small team, and actually here we are again, and the whole place hasn't completely collapsed. As ever with a tech conference, you have tech issues, because it's just the way of the world, but we got over them and we got them done. So even like to express my thanks to our own team within the Tech Army, to Vision Events in the back there who've kept the ball rolling today as well, and everything. And I'm knackered, but I'm also really inspired, and it's wonderful to hear the enthusiasm with which this has all been approached, and it's so fantastic to hear our volunteers' voices as well around the experiences that they've had. It's been great, really good.
Fantastic. Back to you, Alistair, in terms of, and we'll come to both on this one, but obviously there's been a lot to take in today from a plethora of different sessions that have gone on. But if there were a few things, it can be one, can be multiple, that you'd like people that are watching live, watching in here, watching back on record, to take away and go and do, maybe try and summarise what that would be.
Sure. Well, I think echoing really what Chris was saying, it's, everybody has unique contribution that they can make. The thing that energizes people most is working on something that they feel passionate about. And so we see that time and time again, when people get the opportunity to make a difference in something that is really important to them. Not only are they going to get the greatest input, but they're going to get the greatest output in return. So, you know, I don't apologise for repeating our slogan for the day, which is come ready to listen, leave ready to act. I was blown away, actually, when I got that email the day after last year's summit from Dan at PwC saying, we really want to do something. And from that started the soundscape activity, but also their deepening engagement. So this year, as Rob was saying, they're taking on 3 projects across their 3 tech centres. So, you know, again, that multiplicative effect. We're also starting to see, and again, I think it's a testament to the interaction that we see happening. We're starting to see companies and individuals talking about doing things collaboratively. So Barclays and PwC, for example, they're keen to do something together. Right. So hopefully people have made lots of connections today. That gives a tremendous opportunity to continue to deepen those networks. So I would really encourage people to follow up on the connections they've made today. We'd certainly love to hear feedback from people. So, you know, the more people we get, hopefully, you know, the more informed we can become and the more impactful we can be. So,
absolutely. Brilliant. Brilliant. Kirsty?
Yeah, I think for me, you know, the Soundscape story really does show you what can happen when you pull together for a single day. I mean, really, that single day transformed our ability to actually pull that whole stunt off, if you like. And it's this idea of, well, you only get one volunteering day a year. What can you do? Well, my God, you can do a whole hell of a lot. And I think also in the session that I was in on the volunteer recognition framework was that one of the themes that came out of that conversation was very much around the fact that the first step in bringing people into the tech sector or into the tech world where they're using technology in any sector is confidence. And this volunteering opportunity is a safe place to come into where you get to kind of try out and learn some new things, and you're being guided by people who do know what they're doing, that nobody's going to die as a consequence of what you do, and you're not going to get fired, and all this kind of thing. And I think that confidence thing, that ability to bring people in to do the right thing, or they want to do the right thing, so they show themselves immediately to be the right kind of people that you might want to employ as well, just because they're there. And I'm very much of the view that we have to do that framework on volunteer recognition. It's an incredibly important part of making sure that people are credited and benefit from their contributions as volunteers. We are civil society. This is what makes us civil, and we need to keep going with it. Absolutely.
Brilliant. I think that's probably a perfect note to finish on. Up on the screen there, you've got the URL for people who are not already involved to get involved. We saw a brilliant post earlier from somebody that was watching one of the earlier sessions, you know, immediately say that they've been inspired by the stories that they've heard and have already signed up. So, you know, that's the type of thing that hopefully we're looking to get from this event. You know, we've seen and heard so many fantastic stories and experiences of businesses, of individuals, of organizations that have benefited from this, and it is an ecosystem, and I know I'm helping you top your total of ecosystem mentions, but it really is, and it's been an inspiring day for hopefully all of us to have been involved in. So, yeah, a massive thank you to everyone that's been involved, and maybe final word from you, Alistair.
Well, thank you all so much for coming today. It's a big commitment of time and of effort to travel to get here. For those of you who are listening in online, really appreciate your interest in the topics we've been talking about. This is you know, a really big event for us every year, and I'm delighted with the feedback we've had from everybody and the engagement we've seen. So really like to thank everybody very much, and roll credits on The Empire Strikes Back. That's got to be about the longest comedy callback you've ever heard, right? So, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.